everybody. My name is Rachel Antonucci. My students call me Mrs. A, and I'm helping to coordinate a project where a lot of Connecticut musicians and music educators put together these ultimate 10-minute warm-up videos for each instrument. I think you're going to see some themes if you were to watch a few of them. A lot of the themes are things like using lots of air, blowing and really finding air from a low place in your body, and you're not going to hear much different on my end. I made the bass clarinet video, and another great colleague of mine made the soprano regular clarinet video. I wanted to extend it for those first clarinet players out there, or first clarinet players to be, so that you guys can really work on your altissimo range. You can see the changes I'm making to this traditional 12ths warm-up, which is an awesome warm-up. Go ahead and do what's printed there in black. Just hit pause and do that. That's a great warm-up. But I want to show you how I approach the high range. I think the clarinet has more in common with the trumpet than we know, right? If we really use our air well and we approach high notes from this direction, you're going to get these glorious, free, beautiful high notes instead of, a lot of tension and pinching that sometimes can happen. And I know when I first started, a lot of times was one of my things I was working on. Okay, so here I'm going to start on this one, low A. I'm going to make it become E, just normal. Right, I used fortissimo air, as you saw here. I kind of blew through the change. I did not tongue the second note. I let my octave key do the work, right? And it was just this free blowing 12th, right? This is great, great daily stuff for clarinets. Now, we're gonna take a second and we're gonna lift the first finger off. I like to peel it off. This is a nod to you, Kurt Blood, out there. I peel that first finger off and it creates the fingering for high C sharp. You don't have to add any pinkies, nothing funky, it just does it. So listen once and then try it with me the second time. Join me. When I go like this, means it's the cue to switch notes. Adding this and peeling off the top finger. If you need to work on that one a couple more times to get it really free blowing and beautiful, pause the video now. If you're ready to move on, there's one trick to the next one. We're going to go from B flat to F, 3 and 1. We're going to add that, and then we will peel off that top key, right? Peel it up. Mine is actually even worn down. The nickel is worn away because I peel it down, and this time I'm going to add this G sharp, D sharp key. I call it the tuning pinky. If I do it without, you can hear how that tuning pinky really pulls that D into a beautiful, beautiful spot. Okay, so here we go. I'll do this one time. B flat, add the register key, and then we peel and add the tuning pinky. I'll do it once. Join me the second time. At that last moment, peel that off and add the tuning pinky at the same time. If you need to work on that a little bit, go ahead, pause the video and think about that. If not, I'm going to have you keep going. The next one is our B natural, which becomes F sharp. Because of this note here, D sharp, E flat, I'm going to ask you to use a different fingering down here that sets you up for success on the high note. So instead of playing 3 and middle, I'm going to have you play 3 and 1 and then take your ring finger and hit this sliver key here. This is chromatic B natural. You're going to play this. It also becomes chromatic F sharp if you're not used to this fingering. Check it out. Ask your teacher. And then you do the peel and tuning pinky move on that. Okay, so let's give this a try. I'll do it once, and then you give it a shot. time for you to join me. I'm using tons of air. This might not be the kind of sound you make in class every day, but this is about strengthening your embouchure and exploring this high range and letting the reed really vibrate. If you need to work on your D sharp approach a few times, go ahead, pause the video. Otherwise, I'll go on. C, our favorite first note like we ever learned, right? It becomes G with your register key, but if you do that same move, peel off the top finger, add the E flat or G sharp, whatever you call it, tuning pinky, it becomes this note high E in a little less scary way. So here's one time to demonstrate and one time to join me. I'm going to tell you what happened right there. I hit my E flat key ever so slightly and leaked it and squeaked. It happens all the time, totally normal. It could happen to you as well. Try and keep this finger away from that key. And let's try that one more time. C becomes G with that register key. Then we peel and tune. Take a moment. If you need to work on that approach a little bit, go ahead and try that. Pause the video and experiment now that you hear how that sounds. And the last one I'm going to go over, if you're staying tuned, is our C sharp, which becomes G sharp with the register key. And then what we're going to do is we're going to peel that top finger. We're going to add that tuning pinky one more time, and this gets us to our high F, right? Our high F. Wasn't my favorite. I almost wiped out on it as well. Totally understand. You have good days, bad days, good reads otherwise. Try it one more time. One of the least stable notes you're going to approach. It might take a little bit of work, but this is sort of the area in which we live once we start playing our higher parts, and this is the way I like to approach those notes. You can certainly do a D becoming A if you know the fingering for high F sharp and approach this the same way. It's a little trickier because you have to add the sliver key to make that high F sharp happen. And then if you were to try and get to high G from this permutation, you'd also be using like a specialty fingering. So I generally stop here at the high F. So if you're looking for a fun project, working on your altissimo range, go for it. Add these orange additions to your 12ths and see what your high range starts to sound like. Lots of air, strong chin, keeping your chin so that maybe a softball would fit here. You don't want to wind up in soprano sax land, right? And use tons of air and let the clarinet do the work for you. Once you feel yourself or see yourself in a mirror moving all around, you're trying to make it happen. But as you saw today, wasn't a perfect warm-up, squeaks happen, but this is how we grow. This is how we get in that range and develop our embouchure. Good luck to you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you check out other 10-minute ultimate videos.